Good afternoon again, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Spilling Tea. I'm your host, Tiffany Daniels. We'll get to the JRC in a moment, but first the disclaimers and the trigger warnings. If you're unfamiliar with the Stop the Shocks campaign or the campaign against the troubled teen industry, pertinent links are going to be there in the description box. Please take note in particular of the Autistic Hoya's massive archive, or as I like to call it, where our receipts have receipts in regards to the Judge Rotenberg Educational Center. It includes articles, it includes witness stories, ER documents, ER photos, court case transcripts going back all the way to the 1970s. If you ever want to see what information we have on the JRC, that's going to be the best link to go to. Also included and noteworthy is the article written by Neuroclastic, where they surveyed over 800 ABA professionals in regards to the JRC's so-called behavior modification program. The article actually does kind of cut off JRC at the knees, considering who they're surveying. They can't use appeal to authority to quash it. So it got so deep under their skin, they threatened Neuroclastic with a defamation lawsuit if they didn't remove it from the website. Neuroclastic refused, folks. It's still there even now, so please read it and share it on all your social media. We got Neuroclastic's GoFundMe link in there as well, because if the JRC ever does see through with their threat, we don't exactly have unlimited streams of money to be able to count on quite like they do. Alright? Trigger warnings when we discuss places like the Judge Rotenberg Educational Center or Agape Boarding School for Boys. You're going to hear vivid descriptions of and catch clips of surveillance footage of people with mental health issues and disabled people being tortured and abused. If you do got young children present, please make sure to go ahead and utilize the headphones. Also, this channel is marked not for kids for a reason. We do use profanity and speak on dark subjects. If your child's 16 and younger and they are watching this, parental supervision is very much advised. Now, where we left off, shall we? Brace yourselves. More run-on sentences, more accusing other people of things that they didn't do. But they're going to repeat themselves because the only thing the JRC seems to be able to know how to do consistently is copy-paste. Alright. Likewise, it has disregarded published studies, data from JRC's treatment program, the orders of the Massachusetts probate courts finding each individual patient that ESD treatment is the most effective and least restrictive treatment for the patient, and that other treatments have not been successful, and evidence from the Massachusetts trial during which multiple experts testified and were subject to cross-examination, which the court ultimately found in 2018 that the evidence showed the ESD treatment had effectively treated patients, and which decision was upheld by the Massachusetts Supreme Judicial Court in 2023. First of all, you're full of shit. That's not what that court finding actually said at all. In fact, what it alluded to had to do with the 1987 consent decree, which you have used as the sword of Damocles, not just over the Massachusetts courts, but over your own DDS oversight for the state of Massachusetts. Essentially, they did not say, well, obviously, this is just beyond safe. They said they couldn't overturn the decree. These things are not the same. How do I know this? We went over the documentation on this channel. Not long after that went out. You're lying again. Who's surprised? Anybody surprised? Okay, now let's go again. You're like, but the other studies were A, not done in regards to the GED device. Because when those studies were done, the GED device did not yet exist. Which means the device in question was the SIBIS, the very same device that you determined just didn't hurt the students enough when using them. So you developed your own device so that it would cause more physical pain to your students. These are Dr. Israel's own words, not mine. Okay? These other objective clinical studies are from the 60s, 70s, 80s, and early 90s. You, JRC, could not produce even a singular study from any objective party anywhere to support your insanity. You provided reports that are ridiculously outdated, that have absolutely nothing to do with the device in question. Number one. Number two, the studies that you brought forward in regards to data that you are referring to here. Again, that's your study, JRC. It's your ass on the line. Is it not? It's your device designed by Dr. Israel and only used at the JRC, correct? Do you not see the conflict of interest here? The study you put forward cannot be considered objective by any meaning of the word. The people conducting the study are people who are having their checks signed by the Judge Rotenberg Educational Center. And you want to sit here and complain about why the FDA doesn't take it seriously. I'm going to need you all to put the crack pipe down. Because it's clear as the day is long that May. If you could provide a singular study done by a research institute that had no ties whatsoever to the JRC, I would be willing to look at it. The fact of the matter is, that does not exist because everybody that was so much as asked about it automatically refused to conduct such a study, citing ethical and human rights concerns. That's everyone. Everyone. Okay? Now, in regards to, but you said everything in favor of the other studies for the other programs. Yes, because they're current. The studies were done by objective, unaffiliated parties. Crazy, right? Crazy. That's why they were given more weight. Matter of fact, there is far more data showing the success rates in regards to what is considered more mainstream treatment than there is so-called success in regards to the GED device. Now, if you look at the data for the alternative treatments, no, they do not have the instant impact. However, as the treatment program begins its work, you begin to see a difference 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, and then further out, and the changes made going through the slower and more sure way of doing things tend to remain with us and last, following us into adulthood, into our elderly years. okay? Your device stops a behavior for like 5 minutes. It does not address the underlying causes of the behavior because it can't. It's a torture device designed to cause pain. Not a psychologist helping you to uncover what your triggers are. Big difference there. Big difference. Okay? So quit kicking your feet like toddlers. Say, but you won't even give what we put up for you consideration. A, they did. B, what you put up is the most ignorant, batshit, insane, like, fire your lawyers. Or fire the people that fed this to the lawyers. That's all I'm saying. In regards to the Massachusetts trial and the consent decree, how many times does the FDA have to tell you that this has nothing to do with the Massachusetts courts and their decisions? This has to do with your device specifically. And what we know from very obvious evidence that goes back all the way to the 1970s into exactly what you get up to there. But even in regards to the torture that goes back to the 70s, we're not bringing to the table here. This is about the GED device, period. And the risks we already know are real because those risks have been proven in reality by second and third degree burns, of which we have the ER photos and the ER documentation. Okay? That is what we're concerned with here. If you want to start saying, but Massachusetts courts, Massachusetts courts, Massachusetts courts, that's fine. But for the love of God, here's a goddamn quarter. Call somebody who gives a shit. Alright? Stick to the topic at hand. Realize no one is ever going to take your so-called clinical study seriously. And realize and understand that in regards of trying to prove your device is overall effective and will lead to a better quality of life is based off of your own insanity. Nobody wants to be on a human shock collar until the day they die, JRC. But the alternatives is more horrible than that. As a person who has actually lived through child abuse, as well as SA, repeated SA over years, allow me to answer that for you. I would rather undergo the sentence for treason in medieval England, the rack, being strung up, having someone cut into my torso, pull my innards out, and throw them in a pit where there's a fire is in front of me while I'm still alive, hack me into pieces, and bring each body part to one of the four corners of the realm, than to be forced on that device for the rest of my life. Because at least with that particular treatment, eventually the torture ends. We're going to go ahead and close on that one, folks. We don't get very many views on this channel. The few we do get tend to get removed from time to time. So please don't forget to hit the like button, hit subscribe, please don't forget to hit the comments. I do appreciate your time. As always, folks, we here at Spilling Tea hope you have a good one. I will see you all tomorrow. Bye-bye, everyone.